Have you ever felt frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck wasting time in admin instead of growing, leveraging, and scaling your business? Then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate, the podcast that's all about handing off what you don't need to do so you can focus on what you do best. So here's your host, Bonnie Schutz.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate. Get done. I'm your host, Bonnie Schutz, here again today with an amazing guest, like all my guests, right? I would like you to meet Allie Beckmann. Allie, hi. And let me first say before I announce what she officially does is Allie and I have met in person a few times, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times, a few times. But let me tell you, like, this is the kind of person you want to meet because I felt like I knew her 10 years, like the second time I saw her, because she's very, very energetic and smiley, just like me. And so we vibed off each other immediately. And I just thought that she would be a remarkable guest for this podcast because I think we can keep you entertained, if anything, laughing at each other. I don't know. Laughing is the fuel for the soul. So anywho, on the professional side, Allie Beckmann is the founder of Liberated Financial, a Denver-based women-owned firm offering investment management and flat fee holistic financial planning for creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and values-driven individuals. Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of S's in that. Serving clients across Colorado and virtually throughout the U.S. She combines trauma-informed behavioral coaching with comprehensive fiduciary financial advising to help you make smart money moves that support the life you're building and freedom you're creating. I made it. But she also has a super creative side business that I'll let her tell you more about too. So, Allie, welcome. And thank you for bearing with me through that intro.
Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you. Allie and I were in a mutual women's, I don't like calling it a networking thing. It's a women's group it's a support group. We're not
I've been saying
alcoholics, I swear.
incubator.
Yeah, incubator. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you
Mhm.
for helping my menopausal brain remember that word. Incubator. Yeah, like
Yes.
it was a group for helping women that were 6, 7, and 8-figure business owners already, but to be around the same type people or people that were like up there where you want to be, and you can talk to them and get to that 7, 8-figure piece if you want to, or stay in your 6 figures or your 5 figures, wherever you're at, and just feel good about it. And so before we hit record, I was telling Allie a little bit more about the aim of the podcast and how we talk about a delegation spectrum. And so I'd like to ask her to share where, like, I'm just put her on the spot right here. Where do you feel like you are at currently on the delegation spectrum? Can you hold and be happy with a 5-pound weight? Are you kind of in the middle at the 100 pounds? Are you the bodybuilder and you're on the beach half of the week?
I
Where are you at?
am very much still at the beginning of the spectrum.
All
I
right.
think about moving further along that spectrum all the time. It's a huge point of planning and strategy right now for my business, but also my life in general.
Sure.
As you mentioned, I wear many hats in my life. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I've lately, my latest idea is like, do I just need like an EA for my life? Who can just like help me manage all the different things that I'm managing so I'm still really early. I've been a solo like owner operator pretty much
Mhm.
my whole life
Okay.
in the entrepreneurial world. That said, I got my first career was in the theater for 15 years, and I was a performer but also a director, and so in
Love
some
it.
ways I have a lot of experience delegating and
Yeah.
collaborating
Directing.
in a
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
field, right? But
Mhm.
it's different. I feel like I'm still in the early days in my current business and
Mhm.
entrepreneurial endeavors, but
Sure.
really working on moving that spectrum along. I think I've spent a lot of time at the beginning just reaffirming the value in delegating and really visualizing like what it means for me, what it looks like for me, where the biggest impact would be. And so
Sure.
I'm one of those people that, it's that old, whether Abraham Lincoln said it or not, but like 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'm spending the first 4 sharpening my axe. That's
Oh,
definitely
I
I'm
love
I'm
it.
that kind of person, so
That's one of my golden nuggets, I call those. I like that.
yeah, putting a lot of planning and just figuring out like, yeah, where to delegate first.
But, that is so, so smart because you don't wanna go in with a blindfold on and just say, "Here, take this," and do it. Like, let's add a little strategy to the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and I want the experience to be positive for everyone, and efficiency
Yeah.
and effectiveness really matters for me, and so I wanna have a plan. I wanna feel like I can, have enough put together to pass off, to delegate to someone and be like, "Great, now take this and run with it." I
Yeah.
feel like, understanding what that kind of threshold line
Sure.
is kind of challenging
Having a
sometimes.
plan is important. It is challenging. It is. It's because I firsthand know how busy I am running a couple businesses and a podcast and all these things and trying to find time. But when you get committed to it and you know you have to get something off your plate,
Right.
blocking out, carving out that time to really think
Right.
about it and go into your head, am I going to be good at this? Can I find the time to train and teach this person to
Right.
think like me, feel like me, understand my vision? That's like the tips I like to give all the time to people when they're
Yeah.
ready to delegate more or outsource parts of their business to other kinds of companies like bookkeeping firms or marketing agencies to build them a new
Right.
website. Like in that instance, have you already delegated or outsourced some things in your new business? Now you've just rebranded, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so this year was the first time I really did start to outsource. I invested a lot in my business this year, and it was mostly investing in other people
Yeah.
to help me.
Oh,
So,
great.
yeah, I invested in a sales coach, and we spent about 6 months redefining my entire kind of client journey and
Mhm.
also the framework for those sales calls. And so
Yep.
that was a really powerful experience and totally worked. And then I went through a major overhaul rebrand this year of my business and outsourced to a marketing, like a branding duo. They were a strategist and a design team. And
Cool.
then I had a web designer as well. So bringing all those
Good.
people in, and of course, they were all, contract based service providers, but
Mhm.
it was a big deal. It was the first time. I had really, invested in that level in the business and brought in
Yep.
outside people too. Here's the vision. I need you to execute it now.
Yeah.
And it was scary. And
It's
again, it took
hard.
me a long time I took my time interviewing and really putting
Good.
together the right plan and team because I want to feel so confident when I am ready to press go to just go and
Yeah.
not have to question it. So it took some months to really, yeah, find the right, yeah, kind of team.
That's good.
But
You did
then
your due diligence, and that's what I always say
exactly.
too. Wow.
And as a
Yeah.
financial advisor, there's just so many extra considerations. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, but then when I like landed on who I wanted to work with, I felt so confident and I was able to trust them so much more. I felt like it was just so much easier to then actually delegate and let them do what they do because
Yeah.
I put that time in getting to know them and trusted them.
Building the trust. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah,
Good.
that was a big step this year. And then I
Congrats.
also I brought on my first part like fractional paraplanner kind of
Ooh. Yeah.
assistant. Yeah, so she's
Mhm.
helping me with some of the more like data entry aspects of the financial planning, helping me just like
Mhm.
update I redo my clients' financial plans every 6 months. And so
Mhm.
she helped me this fall just kind of refresh data, update numbers, things that don't require a ton of like deep thought. Um,
Right.
easy stuff to start
But time suck.
delegating. Time suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was also really big. And we just started at a few hours a week, but it's going really well. And I'm excited to
Good.
keep working with her and increasing her hours and just,
Nice.
yeah, continuing to, it's the planning, right? Figuring out what I can offload, what makes sense to offload,
Yes.
so that I
And what
can
you're
keep doing
comfortable
more
with. Yeah, and feel
high
safe about
impact.
offloading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
So
you
lots of
added
growth.
that second business. What was that? What is that? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a business.
Oh,
It's a volunteer
movement.
passion project.
Okay.
I'm not taking any money from it right
Okay.
now, and it's a free community. So I call it more of a community, but I started a
Yeah.
local community in Denver called the Creative Experiment, and
Mhm.
it is a community for creatives to connect with their peers. We meet once a month in person,
Mhm.
and it's all about nurturing our creative sparks, nurturing our own relationship to our creativity, but also
Mhm.
providing a space for that peer-to-peer connection, brainstorming,
Mhm.
a space to get to know our creativity, nurture it, share resources, pass
Yes.
ideas, and just connect in community with people who share similar values and um, are looking for that kind of connection right now. So
Oh, yeah.
that we're going to be turning 1 in
Aw,
January, and
nice.
it's been great. I spent my first, like I said, 15. My first career was as a working artist for 15 years, and
Uh-huh.
um, the creative community is just often left out. There's a lot of support that they don't get,
Interesting. Okay.
and it's hard to sometimes find people who get it, other people
Yeah.
who can kind of get it and understand those unique challenges that creative professionals can face, or just
Mhm.
highly creative people in general in our society.
Yeah.
So started a community to just create that space for that support, but
Oh,
ultimately support everyone's ability nurturing their creative spark, because
I
I
love
just
that.
very, very firmly believe that maintaining a healthy relationship to our creativity is a core
Mm.
pillar of well-being.
Yes.
And I think it's integral for our own individual health, but I also think nurturing our creativity also supports collective health and social
Uh,
progress, and maybe ultimately might help us shift the way we value creativity and the arts overall
I
in our
love that.
culture by getting back
Mm,
to the process and
I love
our
it.
own connection with it, rather
I love
than
that.
just kind of this thing that's in
Oh,
the
very
distance. So
cool.
that's been growing very fast
Oh,
and
good.
organically on the
Nice.
side.
Yay. No, I love that. And
Mhm.
that's what this podcast has done for me. It
Mm,
has been my joy in my week. It has been my what I didn't know I needed,
mm,
and it is my creative avenue, to take it where I want it and where I
yeah,
think it should go, and and it has helped me in my business, just
yeah.
to have that joy of the podcast in the day,
Mm,
and then just to be able to watch it back and talk to amazing people like yourself
yeah,
and just put that little break in my day of the monotony of the biz world,
yeah,
of the day to day. Um, so I love that. That's amazing because I think it's very necessary sometimes for people to find a creative outlet in some shape, form, or fashion. I too was a show choir girl in high school,
amazing.
and I miss my show choir days. Um, what kind of creatives? And like when I initially heard creatives, I thought like marketing agencies or something like that, but that's
Yeah.
creative in a way, artsy
Absolutely.
creative,
No, we
kind
get
of graphic
everything. I
design.
mean,
Okay.
we've got a fair amount of like designers or people who have like found careers in marketing in some way or another, but we have musicians, we have performers and actors, we have writers, we have people who are not professionals, who are just like creative people who do like
Oh, okay.
woodworking or textiles. We have we just had a meeting last night, and someone does tactile experiences for the blind. Like, I mean,
Wow.
we've got every photographers, filmmakers, every kind. It
That
spans
is
the
all
age range of
inclusive. I love it.
probably 20s to 60s, men and women. And again, it's just people who ultimately want to connect.
Yeah.
It's people who are
Yeah.
craving connection
Which
and
is
who
hard to do.
value their creativity enough to do things that support it, but
Yeah.
also just keep them connected. The in
Yeah.
person those in-person opportunities to connect in a more intimate way
Sure.
um, are kind of rare right
They
now,
they are rare.
and
I
so
am a little bit of a hermit, I admit.
yeah, so people are like, it's a great thing to get out and just interact with other people, but knowing that we have a shared kind of value or interest. And I facilitate every session differently. So it's always a little different every month. And, but it's always based around really intentional activities, intentional dialogue, and just helping people, just kind of expand the edges of their creativity, of their thinking, whatever that means for them.
That kind of probably fuels your other business, right? I mean,
It
because
has, yeah.
the trauma-informed behavioral coaching,
Yeah.
like who knows what kind of conversations you have in that creative space that can help you with your coaching. I mean, is that a thing? Does that help?
Yeah. Well, I think, my coaching, I've as a professional theater artist, I've been studying humans from every which angle since
Sure.
2006. I would call myself an anthropologist and a sociologist in that
Uh-huh.
way. That's where I put most of my academic studies, was just in all of those ologies: anthropology, sociology,
I love it.
psychology. I've been studying human behavior, for my entire life. And then
Wow.
got my start in trauma informed facilitating 10 years ago when I was in the yoga and health and wellness industry, but then also integrated that when I was doing something called Theater of the Oppressed, which is
Ooh.
a very intentional pedagogy around using theater to facilitate social change within
Wow.
oppressed communities. So I've
Mhm.
had a lot of experience in criminal detention centers, education systems, and the health and wellness field, sharpening my tools as a behavioral, social, emotional, trauma informed facilitator. And so I feel
Wow.
like all of that, then it's moving into
Mhm.
finance 5 years ago. I don't know how to not facilitate and teach in that way.
Yeah, I was like,
It's been such
how do you
a
take
part
all
of
the ologies into
been such a part
financial
of my life
planning?
for so long, that it just made sense. It's just how I show up. And then as I got
Mhm.
in deeper and deeper into finance, and having a background in social justice, always critically
Yeah.
thinking about oppressive systems,
Mhm.
I saw a lot of opportunity in finance to just do things differently, and just
Sure.
my own emotional traumatic experience with
Sure.
money, and just realizing how desperately that component is needed in the, regulated professional advising space.
Sure. Yeah.
There's such an opportunity to be more human as financial advisors. It's
I
not to
love that.
discount the data. It's not to
Sure.
negate the data. The data is grounding a lot of the times, but we also don't want to negate the emotions, because again, for the consumer, money is mostly emotional.
Yeah. Mostly, yes, ma'am,
Right?
it is.
And
Yes,
so
it
it's like,
is.
if we ignore
Oh,
that, we're really doing ourselves a disservice, because those
sure.
emotions are real. It's not that we want to let them drive the bus, but we do want to give them voice, because at the end of the day, your emotions are going to drive your behavior, and your
Mhm.
behavior is going to drive your results. So
Yeah.
I have found that by integrating a truly holistic experience around money, we're able to really optimize your progress, optimize your ability to get things done around a really challenging topic, because we're
Yeah.
working with your emotions rather than against them, and
Yeah.
moving forward, growing through them, and not just kind of staying stuck in those old
Yeah.
decision making patterns or behaviors that ultimately, keep us stuck and not moving forward.
Or just naivety and like, I
Yeah.
have no idea how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but it also helps you. I mean, what I understand is you help them with values driven
Yeah.
investing. And so I like that because
Yeah.
that's very, very relevant nowadays.
Yeah. Well, values driven investing, but also just values driven money decision making.
Okay.
For example, let's say, this is a real story. A client's called
Mhm.
me a couple years ago, and the woman was headhunted by a very, very large, prestigious tech company. She got
Uh-huh.
the job. It was a relocation from New Jersey to San Francisco, and they're just like, I don't even know. Like, do we want to do this? We love our house, but it's such a great opportunity. And they were kind of spiraling, right?
Yeah.
The first thing, I'm like, let's back up and assess, will this decision help you live in greater alignment with your values or not? And so
Mm.
it's not even just about investing. It's about
Okay.
understanding what gives your life meaning as a person,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then understanding how money can support or detract from those values. So it's
Jeez.
about values aligned living, and using your money as a tool to do that more fully and more aligned with
I
what
love
your
that.
values mean and look like to you. Sometimes that's investing. Sometimes
Sure.
it's in spending. Sometimes it's in
Mm.
our decision making. Sometimes it's in the strategies we choose. But
Yeah.
in my opinion, values are the anchor of what makes life worth living. And so if,
Mhm.
if you're considering a financial strategy, but we ask that question, will this help you live in greater alignment with your values? If the answer is no, then why would we continue exploring that strategy? Let's find a different one that does align with who you are and what really matters to you. Because
I
then
love
your
it.
money, it's keeping you in that empowered seat. Money becomes a tool to facilitate your life rather than
Mhm.
you just like chasing money or trying to like fit into a box that doesn't really fit, but you feel like you should because you're hearing about it and everyone's
Yeah.
doing it. It's like, no, 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 no. Keep your values at the center of your plan because that's
Yeah.
what matters to you. And that's what's going to keep you in a position of empowerment to make
Mhm.
choices that resonate for you.
Right, right. No, I love that. I think it'd be really behoove some people that are listening to speak to people like you first before they, like, I'm going back to the whole delegation and outsourcing thing, and as an entrepreneur,
Mm,
if they have spoken to someone and really wrapped their head around their financials and their values driven feelings and ideas and emotions around money, and
yeah.
either the taboo of it or the risk factors and all the things, speaking to someone with you and delegating their mind to this whole thing and really wrapping their head and learning about it before they make that investment. And I say that investment in a person, in
Yeah.
a service, in a fund,
Right.
whatever it may be. I think that's a great first step. So I think I'm going to just golden nugget that to somebody great like Allie first, because I think that I don't know, see if you agree with me, like a lot of things entrepreneurs, one of the biggest um, stalemates in making a decision, or what bops them up against the wall, is the investment in the money
Mm,
into somebody's service,
mhm.
and feel like they're not going to get an ROI in what they invest in, or that they have to micromanage in order to see, like, I paid $50 for this. Is she working in that full hour, and what's she doing? That micromanaging starts to appear, and you don't want to be that, but
Right.
it's that trauma in my head from that $50, how long it took me to earn that back in 1998, and
Mhm.
or whatever it was. So I mean, I think that's a really good idea, people that are listening.
Yeah. Well, and ideally, you figure out what you need and then you find the advisor that fits that and you can,
Yeah.
interview and
Sure.
yeah, chat with a few different people. Hopefully the advisors you talk to are helping you understand what you need and what matters to you. But again,
Right.
I think by always remembering what your values are, it just really streamlines decision making and
Yeah.
puts you back in the seat of empowerment rather than getting lost in comparisons, getting lost in shoulds, or,
Yeah.
focusing on the wrong things. I've got a client right now who his number one value is balance. And he's
Mm.
an entrepreneur. He's super, super successful.
Mhm.
But admittedly, he struggles with like old limiting beliefs around, cost investments and like paying for something that he could do
Right.
himself. Right? And
Yeah.
this is a
That's a
big
biggie.
this is a
That's a
big piece
biggie.
of like the coaching that we're doing together where it's like, yeah, you
Sure.
could, but what's the cost and what's the return? How much yeah, sure, you would have to pay a little bit more for this extra service, but how much time is that going to free up for you? How much
Amen.
stress is it going to clear
How
up
much
for you?
soft cost is it gonna give to you?
Yes, and
Yeah,
then
by
what are
doing
you gonna
so.
be able to do with that time, with that extra mind space, with not having to always feel guilty that you're not getting the things done because you don't have
Yeah.
time, but you're trying to do it all?
Yeah, and
Like,
I'll just throw a
wow,
little
there's a real
sidebar, like,
value.
yeah, but I tell you that I've noticed even myself. So when you start to delegate and you start to see that white space grow in your
Mm,
calendar, you're like, "What can I fill it with?" I'm like, "Stop filling it. You don't need to fill it. Live in that
totally,
white space."
totally.
It's
Yeah, that's
completely
so hard.
liberating, to use one of your words, to have that white space. Let me tell you,
That's
to
so
have
hard.
the support of others, from coaches and planners and agencies that can help you as a person. I'll tell you, as a person in your life, like you mentioned, there are people that can help you. And so delegate stuff for your life. If your life is overwhelmingly busy,
Yeah.
And you just feel like pulled in so many directions, like your heart's taking you someplace and your bank is, your wallet's taking you another direction. But
Yeah.
I think, I mean, you can imagine there are people that do everything. So if it matters to you and it's causing you stress and strain and, it's going to be unhealthy, then delegate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can
Totally.
find somebody, or if I know you and I have one amazing network, so I know we could find somebody that could help you out if you ever needed it. And if not you, somebody listening out there that's just feeling that tug, like,
Mm.
right. Or even those who have exited a business, right? And
Mhm.
and they're just so used to working, or they're so used to having
Yeah.
an assistant or something like that. They're like, oh, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
you could still have that assistant help, hire your lawnmower man and your whatever.
Yeah.
So, but no, I love that. So if, um, what is your dream then for your business, going forward in the next 5 years or so, as far as, do you want to be on that beach? Are you happy where you're at? You want to grow a little bit? I think I heard you say you want to grow a little bit in the delegation or on the delegation
Oh,
spectrum.
yeah. I
Where
would
do you think
love
your happy spot will be?
Oh, I think my happy spot is having a pretty self-managed company. I don't
Nice.
know if I'll be on a beach because I am always doing a million things. So it frees me up to continue to
Sure.
build other communities and make impact and make art. Eventually, I'll probably sell the business eventually. And so I also understand too, like starting sooner by removing myself from the core of everything is only going to support ultimately that transition whenever that
Sure.
happens. So I
Mhm.
think in 5 years, things are, you know, delegation is locked and loaded. It's tight,
Nice.
it's like a team. I think right now, the way I envision it is having like a couple full-time, like kind of like an operations manager, she
Sure.
like the person who's really just managing the movements
Workflows and yeah.
of the
Mhm.
business, and then probably maybe she has an assistant, and
Yeah.
then I would imagine having at least one like full-time paraplanner who's more focused on some
Yeah.
of the like client support and deliverables that we do, because it's a very high touch process, so there's just a lot
Mhm.
that goes into everything.
Yeah.
But also having more advisors. I would love to build my firm to bring
Mm.
in other
Yeah.
advisors and support other advisors building their own aligned practices, and again, integrating more of my background in trauma informed
Yeah.
social emotional work into the industry, and just like helping more
Yeah.
advisors be more emotionally intelligent
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
support their communication with their clients better. I would love to, that's one of the goals, to free up my time, is to start having a bigger impact on the industry and just training more advisors on like inclusivity, trauma informed care, social emotional intelligence inside of the planning conversations. That really excites me because I'm
That's
an
cool.
impact person. So I think
Yeah.
it's like,
I love it.
how do I impact people beyond just the households that I'm working with, but start creating
I
that
love
ripple
that.
effect for other advisors too.
Any service provider like you that can impact people like that. And that is so like fulfilling both ways. Like
Yeah.
for you, I'm sure I can tell
Yeah.
it's so impactful for you to feel like you've made a change and an
Yeah.
impact,
Yeah.
again,
That's
for
what it
lack of
is.
another word, in
Exactly.
somebody's life. And then them to feel like they've supported you to get to your vision and your dream.
Hmm.
And so it's all about reciprocity. That's the
Hmm.
word, Bonnie. Reciprocity. Like
Yeah.
we can help each other and make everything better for both sides. And,
Yeah.
because we all have our zone of genius or cone of whatever happiness, whatever you want to call it. But, so if you were to throw out a couple of tidbits, tips, tricks, something that you might leave our listeners with today to help them
Mm.
feel better about maybe even finding a financial planner to help, get the bugaboos, as a mutual friend of ours uses the term, um, out of their head about money and about finance, and delegating that old mindset to something new, or literal delegation. What
Mm.
are a couple of those tips and tricks or tidbits you could leave us with today?
Sure. I mean, as starting with the financial conversation, I would say, give yourself permission to get real about where you're at, where you're starting
Mm,
from. A lot of people tell themselves this story that they think they need to have X, Y, or Z before they talk to a financial planner. And that's just not always true. So I would say get real about where you're at, and then spend some time thinking about like who would be your dream advisor. Like what would that relationship look like? What would your expectations be from them? What would they help you do? What would they relieve for you in like the mental, emotional, but also in the financial space?
Right.
What again, start with your ideal, start with your objectives. And then when you consider where you're starting from and what you need help with, what would have the biggest impact on helping you move forward, then that helps kind of narrow your search when you're looking. If you're looking for a financial advisor, then you're looking at their websites or their social media, and you'll already be able to understand like, oh, this resonates and I think they might be able to help me with what I'm looking for. So just putting your desires and needs at the forefront, and then finding someone who fits that, I would say start there as far as that delegation goes, and then just have a conversation. You don't have like, nothing has to happen beyond that, but just have one conversation. That is often the hardest thing for people to do, is to just book the first call, because it
that
feels really
vulnerability out.
scary.
Yeah,
Feels
it
really
is.
scary, and the industry is not always inviting.
Right.
And I get that. So,
Well, thank you for being you and
those
making it
feelings are
inviting.
valid, and like, don't let that stop you from supporting your financial health, because your financial health is going to support everything else that you want to do. So just have one conversation and like take it one step at a time, but just, get help, because we can't all be an expert in everything. So
Amen.
that's what I would say for the money stuff. And then another golden nugget I would say is start thinking about bringing other people in as early as possible. Honestly, with the creative experiment, it's not my first business. And so I've been able to really apply all the lessons I've learned from my prior businesses into this one now. And delegation and outsourcing and collaborating has been on my mind from the beginning. And it's really making a difference in just, I think, how the community is growing and the sustainability of it. So I'd say like the earlier you can start imagining and coming up with ideas for how to bring other people in and what you can offload, the better. Just the earlier, the better.
I love it. I love it. That's good, because that's that creative delegation too. Like say you're creating a movement or a community like that. And it's not about how much money you're investing in it. It's about the interest, and you creatively delegate to people that have that same interest because they want to volunteer time. So you're delegating to volunteers or your peers. And that's another creative way when money's involved and you don't have that seed money to start another company or something with it. There's always that creative way. Well, I love that. Is there anything else you want to share about where you've been, where you're going, or anything else before I say goodbye for the day?
I think it's just trust your instincts, just come back to yourself. And there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of shoulds out there, and it's so easy to compare and feel like we're not doing enough. And so I would say just find a way to come back to yourself. And again, like keep your values, keep your needs, keep your desires at the forefront, and just like make sure that's driving you forward. Because when that is your core, you're just that much more likely to find the right aligned partners when you're not compromising on like who you are and what you need. So just like keep coming back to yourself and trust yourself that you do know what you need. And once you can just commit to that and get clear on it, you're that much more likely to find the right person who's going to help you.
That's great. Oh, I love it. All right. Thank you so much, Allie. I appreciate you for being here today. I've so wanted to have you on the show for a while now. So I'm so glad you're here and we got this done today. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to join one of your events. I will come at some point. I promise. I'm creative in this. I mean, I'd like to be creative. I never really knew I was a creative until I got into entrepreneurship, which is like, oh my gosh, I'm not just an executive assistant in corporate anymore. I can be creative now. It's really kind of cool. And I think it's made me a better business person. So
Absolutely. Everyone has a spark of creativity inside of them. It's just a matter of
Maybe.
figuring out how it likes to be expressed in our
Ooh, I love
unique
that.
way.
Yeah.
So everyone
Yes.
is creative. It's just a matter of figuring out, how do you like to be creative? And that
Yes.
is unlimited in expression. So
Awesome. Well, everybody, we will share everything about Allie and how you can get a hold of her and work with her if you're interested, and join our community if you're in the Denver, Colorado area, and all the things down below in the comments. Please subscribe and like and share with your colleagues, your friends, your family, your dog, your cat, whoever wants to listen to the show. And delegate to elevate. And I'm going to add another 8. Delegate, elevate, liberate yourself, and get done. Thanks,
thank you,
Allie.
Bonnie.
Bye.
So that's it for today's episode of Delegate to Elevate. Head on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a $15,000 private VIP day with Bonnie herself. Be sure to head on over to delegatetoelevatepodcast.com. That's with the number 2. And pick up a free copy of Bonnie's gift and join us on the next episode.